What's up, Fight Fam, and welcome to Boxing Bros. This is episode 21. We made it to a 21st episode.
We're legal now.
I'm Caden, and I'm here with my co-hosts. I'm gonna let them introduce themselves.
What's going on? This is Trill.
G.
The first topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is Canelo Alvarez TKO victory in the 11th round over Sergey the Krusher Kovalev. We're going to start this one off with Trill.
I was waiting for this. Viva Mexico! Shout out to my man, the pound for pound king, Canelo Alvarez. Before I go in talking about how great this guy was, let's talk about after the fight. After the devastating knockout by Canelo, he showed nothing but class, professionalism. Listen, I was honored to be a Canelo fan. How he hushed the crowd down to make sure Kovalev was okay first before he celebrated. I thought that showed so much class. It made me love Canelo even more. Now let's talk about the fight. What was Kovalev thinking? Listen. He wasn't. I mean, he forgot everything that got him there. I never thought of Kovalev being a boxer counterpuncher. I didn't think I was gonna see that. You know what I'm saying? Canelo was coming forward, and Kovalev was boxing, using his jabs, moving around. I was like, this guy is gonna get himself tired before, you know what I'm saying? And hey, listen, I think him doing too much moving around and all that boxing and switching up who he really is in that fight, the Krusher turned into a dancer in that fight. You know what I'm saying? This wasn't what I expected. I expected Kovalev to use his size and come forward and walk the shorter, smaller guy down, but he did not do that. He was on his bike. He was the one that was moving around. I was like, I didn't understand that, but shout out to Canelo. If you don't have Canelo as the #1 pound for pound on your list, forget what ESPN is saying, and that is not the official list. Let's just make that known right now. People, if y'all going to ESPN's list and thinking that that's the #1 list and that this guy Lomachenko is #1, you are delusional. That is Bob Arum's list, and me and Caden was talking about it earlier. It seems like all his fighters is always #1. Always. You know what I'm saying? His fighters is always #1. So don't go off of that.
Pacquiao over Floyd for many years. Then Chocolatito over Andre Ward. And then now you got Vasily Lomachenko over Canelo
Alvarez?
Even Terrence Crawford. If you don't think it's Canelo, how is it Vasily?
This is crazy. This is crazy. But I wanted to say shout outs to Canelo. Canelo can do no wrong. Viva Mexico. I want to see Canelo, you know what? After this fight, I was like, after he fights Kovalev, maybe, you know what I'm saying, he do this and then he leave. After this, I think he fares well against Dimitri Duval. I think that might end up being an entertaining fight. I think he needs to stay away from off the better beef, though. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't mind seeing him unify with Duval. That's his Dimitri Duval. I wouldn't mind. I think now, after seeing Duval's last fight and then seeing Canelo at 175, I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing that fight. Or Canelo could go back down to 168. He said he could still make 160. Listen, I don't want to see another Triple G fight. Canelo can do whatever he wants, though. I'm going to be backing Canelo.
All right, G.
Yeah, shout out to Canelo. I did appreciate. This is where I'm pretty sure I'm different with my co-hosts on this. I actually thought Kovalev had the correct strategy for a Canelo, for the Kovalev of this period. He's older. He can't really take the type of shots that he could in his previous fights. He understood Canelo is a certified counterpuncher with real power. So if you notice, he was like gun shy with the right hand, and he was utilizing the jab a lot. And if you notice, he wasn't even like throwing stiff jabs. It was more like tapping and trying to bring it back to protect himself, because I think he was playing the points game, right? And because he did that, there was rounds where it was you could give it to Kovalev, right? So it's like to me, prior before the 11th round, I had Canelo up by 1 round, you know, and so like, and I'm pretty sure everybody's scorecards were all over the place for this fight prior to the 11th round knockout, but I felt like Kovalev played the smart game for a person that's dangerous like a Canelo, you know, and I don't think that will. So I'm not like, all right, Canelo's performance against Kovalev doesn't impress me for Canelo staying in the light heavyweight division. The difference is these younger fighters in the light heavyweight division, they're not afraid to throw their punches, right? And they're gonna put a lot of sting behind their punches. We don't know how Canelo could react to that, and not to mention, we know that Canelo has an endurance problem, right? And so Kovalev allowed Canelo to reserve a lot of energy to go all the way to 11th round without showing any signs of fatigue. The rest of the light heavyweight champions in the top 10 fighters, they're not going to allow Canelo to do that. But with all that being said and done, shout out to Canelo, shout out for him for reaching that achievement of being like the champion of 3 different weight divisions. Salute, you know what I mean? I was impressed by both fighters, to be honest with you. I'm not going to downplay Kovalev. Homeboy is what, 36 years old?
39, man.
39?
He's old.
36, yeah.
No, I think he's 36. He just looked like he's 46.
He's 36,
you know,
yeah.
but, you know, he looks like he not the Krusher anymore. Clearly, he's not the Krusher, right? And so I respect him for taking this fight because you know prior to everybody was like it could have went either which way.
Yeah.
You know, he had the reach advantage.
Yeah,
you know, he had the resume of bodying people literally in the ring. So it was a dangerous fight for both fighters. But, you know, salute to Canelo, and I'm happy that Canelo won, you know, because I need my average, my prediction average to
I was
rise.
a round off. I said a 10th, but I was a round off. I just knew he was eventually going to get to him.
Yeah.
And not to go off of what you said a little bit, I don't think he did. I don't think he fought the good fight. I really don't.
So you think he should have went the old school Krusher route?
I think he would have gave himself a better chance because he would have gave himself a better chance.
He got knocked out
anyway.
True.
You know what I'm saying? But he would have if he would have fought himself, he would have gave himself a better chance to win. If he would have fought how he normally would have fought, coming forward, at least have Canelo going off his back foot. Kovalev was fighting backwards, bro. Just so he couldn't, none of his power can hand. So he was taking everything.
There's a reason.
He was taking everything.
I think because he was
You know what I'm
scared
saying?
to get hit to the body, bro.
That's
You know what I mean?
it.
So
But
he was just like,
so
oh,
he
I'd
took
rather
more
do this.
punishment.
I'd rather do
He
this.
took more punishment to the body. Leaving his hands out. I think he fought the wrong fight. He didn't fight his fight, and that's just why the Krusher got crushed. You know what I'm saying? and shout out and when you say about Canelo's endurance, I think you're talking about his stamina and conditioning.
Yeah.
Like, listen, Canelo fights. We can't say, oh, we know he has a condition. No, we don't know that because I done seen him dominate a fighter from beginning to end in a Triple G. I done seen him take Triple G and push Triple G back the entire fight and had no condition issues. And with this fight, I seen him take off 1 round. I think it was the 8th round with Kovalev. And I think he was just doing that so he can try to catch Kovalev committing to something so he can counter him. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, I think, listen, I don't want to take nothing away. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to take it away. And because I feel like, you know what I'm saying, Canelo is number 1. And he can do whatever he wants.
And that's why I will echo your sentiment. Canelo is definitely pound for pound number 1. He solidified
He can do
it
whatever
last
he
night.
wants to do.
You know, so salute to Canelo for this victory. I don't think anyone in their right mind, including Lomachenko supporters, will have the nerve to even say, yeah, Lomo's after. Yo, listen. If y'all don't say craziness about Wilder fans, y'all better talk greasy about them if they do this. You know, I don't believe anybody in their right mind will say, no, Lomachenko's still pound for pound number 1. Like, get out of here, man.
Yeah, so a few things. One, I'll just start with Kovalev. Sergey Kovalev got to the biggest fight of his life and tried to fight like Andre Ward. I don't understand. He's the Krusher. He's called the Krusher for a reason because he knocks people out. This is the man who actually has a body on his resume. He killed someone in the ring with a body shot, right? And then when I see the fight, I see him going backwards, and I see Canelo looking like the Krusher. So it looked like Canelo's the guy who's this devastating knockout artist, and it looked like Sergey Kovalev was the counterpuncher when we know it's actually reversed.
Yeah.
So it was weird to me. And G, you said Kovalev would have gotten knocked out if he would have fought the old Krusher style. And I agree with you. It's possible he would have gotten knocked out. But he also would have given himself a better chance of winning.
Yeah.
The way he fought this morning, because I can't say last night with the delay. The way he fought this morning, right? He fought to survive. He never really fought to win. And there's a difference. He fought to get to the 12th round. He fought to try to steal a decision. He didn't fight to be Sergey Kovalev the Krusher. And I think he's gonna regret that. I think when he wakes up and he recovers, he's gonna say, I should have gone out being who I am. And we've seen this happen in boxing a number of times. We've seen Ricky Hatton get in there with Manny Pacquiao and try to be a counterpuncher when he's really a pressure blitz fighter.
Use what got you there.
Exactly. Trying to fight like Mayweather Sr. was teaching him, got him knocked out. One of the most devastating one-punch knockouts we've ever seen. Right? And you see certain fights where a guy gets a new trainer and he's trying to implement a new style in the biggest fight of his life, and it costs him the fight. And I think Sergey Kovalev may have gotten knocked out, but maybe he hits Canelo with one of those crushing right hands, and that changes the course of the fight where Canelo's like, I don't want to get hit with one of those punches again, and then he starts moving around, and Sergey can be the hunter. What I think is Sergey had the wrong game plan. He should have gone in there being the Krusher, live or die with what got you there.
Definitely.
Right? So that's my opinion on Sergey Kovalev. Now with Canelo Alvarez, I think we just talked about Vasily Lomachenko. And one of the things they talk about is his amateur pedigree and his amateur background and what he did as an amateur. They ignore his loss in his second professional fight to Orlando Salido all the time. But Orlando Salido's no Floyd Mayweather, right? Orlando Salido's no Floyd Mayweather. And Vasily Lomachenko hasn't been in a ring with anyone of Mayweather's caliber. Mayweather, fresh off the couch right now, would spank Vasily Lomachenko. Easy money. But anyways, let's get to the point I'm trying to make. Canelo's been a pro since he was 15 years old. 15. He was undefeated until he fought Floyd, and he was a pro since the age of 15. So when you're hyping up a man for being this great amateur when he was older than Canelo was when he turned pro, what do we say about Canelo when he was a pro since the age of 15?
Excellent point.
We have Xander Zayas, the 17-year-old Puerto Rican who just made his professional debut and looked sensational in that fight. And we're marveling at him like, yo, this dude. Now, I'll give Xander credit for this. He's fighting in American competition, which is probably better than the competition Canelo was facing at 15. But let's not forget, we're talking about a 15-year-old being a professional boxer. Vasily Lomachenko was an amateur at 15. I haven't looked this up because I didn't have time to research it. I want to know at what age did Vasily Lomachenko turn pro? How much older was he than Canelo Alvarez when he turned pro? And how great of an amateur? How great of an amateur could Canelo Alvarez have been if he would have stayed an amateur until he was 17, 19 years old? Right? There's no debate here. Canelo's a better pro. He was better when he was younger. He's better right now. His only L is to the man who we call TBE. The best ever. Okay? You know what I'm saying? So, like I was saying, Canelo's only L is to the man we call TBE, the best ever. The undefeated Floyd Money Mayweather. Okay? Who, love him or hate him, you can't debate. He's the best fighter of his generation. Now, if you think he's the greatest of all time, that's another debate for another story. But he's the best fighter of this generation. Canelo lost to him. And ever since that loss, he beat everybody else. Right? Now, I've heard some arguments against Canelo that sound ridiculous and ill-informed, right? Like, oh, he can't be number one pound for pound because every time he's fought good opponents, it's been close fights. Well, when you fight the best, it's close. When you fight the best, it's close. Vasily Lomachenko's fighting guys who aren't on his level. Of course you look more sensational. Of course Terrence Crawford looks good beating guys who aren't Sean Porter, beating guys who aren't Danny Garcia, beating guys who aren't Keith Thurman, beating guys who aren't Earl Spence. Yes, he's going to look sensational. That argument is dumb. So, like, come on, guys. If you want to be real, give credit where it's due. Canelo Alvarez is the number one pound for pound fighter. He was better at 15 than Vasily Lomachenko. He was better at 16. He was better at 17. He's better now. Cut the mess. Canelo Alvarez, the best pound for pound in the sport.
Please like and subscribe and check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. It's the Boxing Bros. Viva Mexico!